Welcome back. Welcome back. So we're going to talk about Rolex 2022 Rolex releases. So, and we'll cover Tudor kind of at the end here. Get into my notes. So, what's the deal with the? Let's start with the Rolex Gmt Master Ii. The green bezel. I love the green bezel, I really do, but why would Rolex go with a left-hand watch? I mean, I understand that there are left-handed people out there, I get that, but why don't they have a left-handed Submariner? That's one of the most popular Rolex watches. Why wouldn't they make one of those left-handed, right? So not only did they make it left-handed, but they also they put the Cyclops, the date on the left-hand side as well, which I believe the Tudor left-hand drive Pelagos the date is on the other side, where it should be. So it's just kind of weird for Rolex to be, in my opinion, I like vintage Rolex, but it's kind of weird for them, in my opinion, to experiment in that way. I think it's kind of a quirky watch, goofy. Yeah, it's going to be rare, and they'll discontinue it, and it's going to be worth thousands over retail. I understand that, but it's just my opinion, not really a good release. It's just stupid. I think that what they need to do is do that same watch, but do it for right-handed people or right-handed. And I think that would be much more accepted. I think people would like that. Now, the Air King. I was never really a fan of the Air King anyway, but I think they did actually make some good improvements. I do like that the case is slab side now. It's kind of like almost a Rolex Explorer 2. And you have crown guards now. I like that. And what's also really cool is now that it is, they have the newer movement in that model. You don't need the iron cage, and that makes it thinner. So we're coming in like a whole 1 millimeter in difference. I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I believe it's a 12.9 millimeters, and the older one was a 12.1 millimeter, I believe, the newer one, and the older one was a 13.1. I could be wrong, but I know it's about a 1 millimeter difference. So that's well received, I think. So having a thinner watch is always better. The lugs are now 21 millimeter, which, they're doing this across the board. The Submariner's got 21, which is a weird size, in between size, but whatever, right? It's Rolex. So, but it does taper. It has a taper down to 16 millimeters. So that's quite a taper, and that's cool. It gives it a more, just like my Submariner, just a more wearable, watch. I mean, having something like I have a Doxa sub 300T, which I love, but it's a 20 mil and it doesn't taper. It's all the way to 20 at the end. So I really like the taper. I think the taper looks good and wears much nicer. Smaller case, or no, actually not smaller case. They are both. I believe the Air King is both a 40 millimeter. Yes, they are 40 millimeter. But the slab side of the case, it doesn't have that curve to it. I actually like it, and they added on the dial a 0, so it's 0.5 instead of just 5. If that really matters, I don't know. I guess it kind of gives a little more to the dial. Doesn't look as like as if there was a blank space there to begin with. I mean, there really wasn't, but just more detail, I guess. Yeah, I mean, out of Rolex's new releases, I think the Air King was probably out of all of them, the one I like. Rolex has been doing some weird stuff. Like they went from the 39 millimeter Explorer to now the 36. So they've been doing some different stuff. But I mean, to do the GMT Master left hand now, I mean, why not do a left hand Submariner, right? So this is just something that they threw out there. It's not probably going to be available for long. In fact, what am I talking about? Availability is non-existent because you can't walk into a Rolex AD and actually buy one. That's why I really like the vintage stuff, because you can pick them up, and the price of those are rising, rightfully so, because they're not available anymore. But to have to get on a waiting list and then to buy these things gray market or second hand for double the amount of money is, in my opinion, stupid. But to each his own. You guys do whatever you want to do out there, okay? I think the Air King was the best release of 2022, even though I'm not a fan of the Air King anyway. And I think they only raised the price like $200, so that's also pretty cool. But I'm sure more price increases are coming. But then again, that doesn't matter because you can't buy it at retail anyway, right? Now Tudor. Really nothing that special in my opinion, except for the Black Bay Pro. I think the Black Bay Pro is pretty cool because it looks like the old Steve McQueen Rolex GMT, or not Rolex GMT, Rolex Explorer. It looks like the original Explorer 2 Steve McQueen model with the orange GMT hand. I think that looks really good. I like the dimensions, the size and everything, the look, the dial, everything about that watch is, if it was available, if I could get it, I'd want to get one. But the other releases, nothing special. So Tudor and Rolex releases, I just give you my take on it, and maybe we'll do more of these videos. I like getting in front of the camera. I used to do this, but I think it's kind of fun to interact with you guys. So tell me what you think. Leave some comments below about the where Tudor and Rolex is going. I kind of think that Rolex shouldn't be playing around with stuff like this. I mean, Tudor is a brand that Rolex owns, that they can kind of throw some risky stuff out with. You know what I mean? They can do those left-hand models. They can do the funky stuff. Rolex should be kept. It's more your traditional, more conservative watch. It really is. So for them to do all these risky things now that I'm starting to see, I don't think it's a good idea, but whatever, it's Rolex, they're going to do what they want to do. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.